Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining. We've dropped to P15. Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap. We're 15th in the speed trap, 202.3 miles per hour. Check's complete. Everyone be aware, we've got a car leaving the garage. Right, that's us pushed down into P15. only got 2 laps of fuel left. Pitting this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap. Right, so our fastest lap currently 1 minute 10.2. We're 15th in the speed trap, 202.3 miles per hour. Standing by. "30 seconds left in the session." Right, let's have you in at the end of this lap, please. VSC deployed. The virtual safety car has been deployed. We need to keep a positive delta here. Slow down and maintain a positive delta. Right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately. Okay, VSC ending. We're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags. Okay, clear. Experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible. Tyre condition still looking good. approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time. Flag. Okay, we're boxing this lap. Give us the best in lap you can. There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful. Virtual safety car, virtual safety car. Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta. Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace. Okay, VSC ending. We're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags. Okay, pit in this lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach. Drive-through penalty. You've got a drive-through penalty. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Okay, one stop to go, just one stop left in this strategy. Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 2.6 seconds. Okay, we can take you this lap. Okay, go, go, go. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Okay, clear. The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Well done. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 3.6 seconds. So your ERS is running a bit low. Look into changing your ERS mode in the MFD for a more conservative burn rate, or you might want to try some lifting or gentle braking to recharge. yellow flag. Brilliant, nice move, keep going. Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by.
Here he is. So let's get some interviews underway with our top three. Enchilada Dad, it is a third win in a row for you. And, well, it looked controlled from start to finish, but how was it on your end?
Well, the safety car did make it more interesting, to be fair, but I could have gone without it. I
Yeah.
was, I think I probably should have not pit though, but just because I had a big enough gap, and even if everyone else stayed out, I would still come out like fifth or sixth or something. I thought I'd just try it, but I expected everyone else to just stay out if they just went onto their hards. But only Tier stayed out to avoid double stack, and at the end he probably had the best pace, so maybe staying out was the better idea.
Yeah, it certainly looked that way, and without his penalties, it would have been another
Mm,
1-2
yeah.
for you guys.
Like with
Um,
12 seconds, I'm surprised how little he dropped in the end, so it wasn't too bad.
Well, it was another very accomplished race from you. Um, Obviously, Denko he had a force feedback issue with his wheel early on and tried to fix it, and then found himself in ninth when
Yeah,
when he
I,
did
I
fix
was
it.
hoping that wasn't my internet when I saw
Yeah.
him disappear, but yeah, that's very unlucky.
And then obviously Sumo made his own mistake, which we'll talk to him about in a
Mm,
few moments' time. But
yeah,
was there? Did it seem controlled from your point of view until the safety car, or
yeah.
was it still on the ragged edge? Because it is Canada after all.
Mm, the gap was big enough that if I did feel unstable, I could have just slowed down a bit, to be fair. But uh, towards the end of the mediums, I was when I was starting to feel like I could lose it. But the hards, I was only on for a few laps, but they felt better. So I don't know. Being in the train at the end, I didn't really have to push overly hard, so it was really at risk.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like I said, another very good race from you. Spent much of it in pretty much no man's land at the front, but it definitely, like you said, got more exciting towards the end. You now will take a double-digit lead in the championship, I believe, ahead of JB. It's going to be 10 points, I think, the gap between
Mm.
yourself and JB heading into the last four rounds. Um, and obviously, you're mainly going to be interested in the 27-point gap to Extraec, I'm sure. Um, but it's still mighty close, despite those three wins in a row that you've had. It is still relatively close, thanks to that DNF you had in Bahrain. So, are you starting to believe?
If I don't believe now, I'll probably never believe, so I guess I have to. But I mean, everything went my way the last 2 weeks, so maybe it's due to come back at me or something. I
Well,
don't know. But
we kept saying that about Extract last season, and it never
yeah,
happened. So,
true.
so yeah, keep it up, mate. You're doing a
Mm,
fantastic job.
thank,
So well done.
thank you.
I'm going to move on to our second place finisher now, JB. Well, um, in the first stint, I think if I told you in the first stint that you would have finished this race P2, you'd have told me I was crazy. But that is where you finished, and you fully deserved it. What a race! How'd you feel?
Yeah, I would have bitten your hand off for that. Especially after the qualifying as well. I was a bit like, oh, I just didn't put the lap together really well enough. And then the plan initially was probably to go a couple of laps early onto the hards. But of course, the virtual safety cars kind of came out. I thought, well, I'll still go for it. Lap 11, I think it was, I went. And that put me ahead of a couple of the front runners when they. I think I was ahead of like Tier and I can't remember who else at that stage. Um, but from there it was, and then once the last safety car restart, and we were all back on the mediums, I felt good. It was just a sense of trying not to pick up the track limit penalties, which I did. I was on two for ages. Um, Trying to keep an eye on Tia and Ench ahead, and then Sumo was behind with no penalty either. So I was like, I don't know if he's got any or whatever. So I was trying to manage everything all together. But yeah, really, really happy with the result today. I don't think it could have gone much better, really.
No, I agree. You did a fantastic job with the cards you were dealt, and it just happened to be a royal flush today.
Yeah,
So congratulations. I I will say that undercut that you went for, was
yeah.
that just because of all the battling that was happening, or
Uh,
did you think that you know you might be able to gain some time and gap the cars behind? Not, of course, not thinking about the top three, but then you ended up when
yeah,
all was said and done, right up there.
yeah. So initially it was just like the cars that were around me, because I thought it was getting to the stage where the tires were starting to slide in like the hairpin and stuff like that. So I was like, well, if I can get on some fresh tires and kind of try and get that gap ahead or whatever, then that would set me up. But I didn't expect it to work as well as it did. even I was in the party with Jack, and he was like, "How have you gapped both me and here?" so so yeah,
Yeah, well, fantastic job. And, well, like I was saying to Ench, you now find yourself in second place, I believe, in the championship, just 10 points behind.
yeah.
Enchiladadad is on a heck of a run of form right now, but do you think that perhaps you can go on a run of form of your own after this podium?
Yeah, I'm hoping to. I think this is probably one of the best seasons. I think for kind of like results consistently that have gone. So hopefully I can. I think it'll be hard. Um, there's a number of other quicker drivers that could also be. It's all to play for really. Like you say, there's 10 points in the championship, um, but I'll give it my all really and see what comes at the end of the season.
Absolutely, and the constructors is still on as well. Don't forget about that. McLaren
Yeah,
have taken a lead after this race, I believe, but it's not
yes,
much of
Rob Sue
one.
DNF'd.
Yes,
I'm not sure what happened, but
I think he binned it out. I think he binned it into the Wall of Champions.
right,
So
yeah,
yeah, so it was a shame, but he was honestly, he will tell you himself, he was already having
yeah,
a bit of a stinker.
yeah,
So. Uh, But yeah, it's very close in the constructors, very close in the drivers. You've got a very good chance of winning both. So keep it up,
yeah.
JB. You're in the form of your life.
Thank you very much.
And on to our third place finisher, who's definitely going to be the most disappointed of the three. Sumo, well, it didn't quite go to plan, but you nonetheless recovered very well indeed. Talk us through how you're feeling.
I feel ill, man. Just so ill. I've been ill all day. I still went
Oh
to
no.
work. I still raced, and I'm just glad I managed to claw something back. I'm glad I at least managed to just drift at turn three. Um, and then I'd misjudged the VSC ending by like milliseconds. Ended up with a drive through. I was planning to pit that lap anyway to undercut because I knew the hards were the better race tyre. And then thankfully, I feel like I had the pace. I was quite consistent as well. I feel like I was probably one of the most confident drivers through the Wall of Champions chicane. And that early stint, all I was trying to do was I knew I had a bit of a gap to chew through, but if I could get close and put some pressure on Inch, then I might have been able to get him. We had a nice little side by side for a little bit, but that mistake robbed us of that. But then all the last lap chaos robbed me of potentially P2. So I'm glad to just finish on the podium, to be honest, because I've had a stink of the last 3 rounds and I've been feeling ill all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's no better time to score a podium than after a run of bad races. But yeah, it was a shame you never took the race lead, really, because you probably deserved it at some
Mm.
point in the early part of the race, but you never actually did. But yeah, that mistake into turn three was very costly indeed. I mean, Talk us through it. Were you just not paying attention to the grass, or did you think Ench was closer to you than he was?
Um, Probably. I was trying to leave him room. You know, it's tough at Canada to go side by side through those corners. In hindsight, I could have probably backed off and stuck to my strategy and just stayed behind him because I might have undercut him that way. But um, I don't know. I just felt like I had the pace toward the end. But yeah, that little dip on the grass, I'm just glad I caught it, to be honest. I think that was the main thing. I could have ended up out of the race after that. So, um, yeah, it was just, I don't know, just perhaps it's not paying attention, being a little bit too punchy.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, and also, obviously, you touched upon it briefly, but that last lap incident. I mean, I just cut to the mid pack and I saw uh, a lot of cars all tangled with each other, not knowing what had caused it. So, talk us through it. How did it happen from
Well,
your end?
I mean, the build-up, I was on medium tyres. I had two warnings. I'd had two warnings since about lap 12. So all I was interested in was not extending the track limits and getting that time penalty. And I think the mediums just slipped off a little bit, so it left me a bit vulnerable to Jack and Womack, who seemed to have good pace toward the end. Then I let Jack past. I thought I'm not fighting these guys. I'm just gonna let them all past. And then Jack almost lost it. Well, he did lose it, but out of turn 7, 8. Um, and then it just invited this free wide situation, and then it all was chaos from there. My only goal, as I said, was to not get that time penalty because I could just benefit on the fact that I didn't have one and everybody around me did.
Yeah, absolutely, and you did exactly that. It was all about the lack of time penalties in the end. So
Mm.
you did a great job to keep it within the white lines, um, and a well-deserved podium, even if you probably feel it could have been more. So congratulations, nonetheless. And a brief word on the championship, Sumo. Um, I believe you'll find yourself 30 points behind Enchiladad after this race, with 4 to go. Obviously, Singapore is one of those, and there's a few tracks left where anything can happen. But are you feeling, are you into sort of get as high a position as you can mode, or do you still believe at this point that you can be the champion this season?
Baby steps.
Yeah.
If my predictions was my goal for this season, so P3 is where I'm aiming for. It would be cool to win the championship, sure, but I think I'd need some races to go my way. Um, Singapore is an obvious highlight of those 4 races yet to come. I think I'm owed a win at Singapore, to be honest, because the last couple times we've been there, I've been on it and just had rotten luck.
Yeah, well, I certainly hope so. It would be great to see. But
Winning at my
nonetheless,
favourite track would be great.
yes. Congratulations on your second podium of the season. And hope to see you up here again at some point in the next 4 rounds.
I'm sure you will.
Well, there's my podcast partner with the confidence. And thank you all ever so much for watching. We'll be back next week for round number 7, where we will be heading to, I believe, the streets of Singapore, if I'm right.
Mexico, is it first?
Is it
Pretty sure it's
Mexico
Mexico.
first?
Mexico
My
first,
phone
I think, then.
my phone isn't loading the image, but I'll take you guys' word for it. So Mexico next week.
Yeah, Mexico.
Thank you, Sumo. Um, so that should be a great race. And, I was predicting a fair few incidents here at Canada today, and it didn't happen. It was great racing up and down the grid throughout, with exception of that little blip at the end. But these things happen on the final lap, and overall, very impressed with Tier 2 today. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And follow along, because both championships are looking like they're going to go down to a very close run thing. So thank you all, and I'll see you all next week for more Tier 2. Goodbye. And Dunzo.